Okay, so I think I'm gonna try and make a video about how to make solar panels very easily and very quickly. Um, Here's a small sample that I made before, and you could basically just make one with two sheets of glass you can get for a couple dollars at Home Depot. They're usually like $6 for a pretty big pane of glass, and you'll need two of them, one for each side, and then you'll need some sort of sealant to seal in the cells. And you're gonna need solar cells, definitely, and you're also gonna need a special type of soldering iron, one that has temperature control on it. If you have one like this, it's going to be kind of tough to solder solar cells because you have two different types of materials. You have your tin strips that you're going to be soldering onto them like these little tabs, and the problem with these tabs is if you have one metal that has one heating temperature, and you have your solder which melts at a different melting point, and then you have silicon that you're trying to melt the solder onto the tabs and onto the silicon, it's going to be kind of tough because you have to get all three of them at the same temperature at the same time to be able to have them solder correctly. So you're going to need a pretty good soldering iron. And basically, it's pretty easy to make a solar panel. All you basically have to do is get your solar cells, and then you're going to have to figure out how you're going to want to arrange them. For any sort of battery system, you're going to want a solar panel that's going to put out about 20 volts DC, and that's just because if you have it in the sunlight, maybe it's not getting direct sun, maybe it's getting indirect sun, or maybe it's only in the shade for half the day, and if it's only half exposed, then you're only going to get 10 volts instead of 20 volts. So it's going to help you out a lot more if it's a shady or if it's a cloudy area to have a higher voltage, so that you can at least charge a battery or send a voltage to your charge controller. And then beyond that, you can play around with whatever wattage solar cells you can find. The cells I've got are 3.5 inches by 6 inches, and they come pretty much blank. There's just a cell, and you have these three contacts on the back where are negative, I'm pretty sure, or I think they're positive, and these two white bus bars are negative on the top. And so when you connect a solar panel, it might look like the cells are just going straight down, but actually they're more woven together than anything else, because you have you're going to go positive, and then it's going to go through the cell, and then negative, and then you're going to take the negative side right here, and then that goes onto the top of the next one, and then on the other side it's going to go through the cell again, and then after it goes through the cell, then it's going to pass through and then pass back over to the next cell, and then that's how you're going to wire them in the series. And this was just a prototype cell, or a prototype panel. Um, but you can see I had a couple problems with it because I was using a really cheap soldering iron. There's 2 points of solder, 2 big points, and when I tried pressing the 2 panels together, they broke the panel right here, which it didn't really change the output, but it's probably going to decrease the reliability of the panel. So you want to be mindful of that. Another thing to be mindful of is the fact that humidity is going to change the endurance or the longevity of your solar panel. And some manufacturers will sell a solar panel encapsulation powder, and that's basically just to it's like a desiccant. It absorbs any sort of moisture that might have gotten into your solar panel frame, and it's a good way of increasing longevity. So at least you don't have to replace your solar panel every 2 years or whatever. So basically, just to start out, you'll take, after you've already, what you're going to want to do is tab them from the bottom, from the one, from the positive side, and you're going to, this is the most efficient and fastest way that I've figured out how to do them. After you've tabbed them all on the bottom, then you're going to want to lay them down, and so you're going to take them out like this, and you're going to want to make sure that your tab wires on the bottom side are going to be even, because you're going to be putting them, wiring them like this on top. So if they're slanted, then they're not going to make good contact with the negative bus bars. So you're going to place them on like this, just to set them up, and then take out an iron. And what I usually do is I'll place like a weight or something, and I'll get my solder. I use like a really fine diameter solder. This is a 0.032 inch diameter light duty Rosenkohler solder, 60/40. And fastest way is if you place the solder in between the bus bar and the tab that you're going to be soldering, and then if I take the soldering tip and I apply it to the top of the metal tab, it's going to conduct the heat, and it's going to melt the solder, which is in between the solar cell and the tin wire that I just put over it, and it'll make a really nice seal on it. And it's gonna, instead of having like big dabs of solder that you place onto your silicon solar cells, you're just putting down like a tiny little bit, because you want it to be as minimal as possible, but you want to make sure that it's a really nice and good connection. So I'm going to do that real quick. It probably takes about a minute or two for each cell. But it takes a lot longer if you try and wired first. I got a friend that I think he has a saying, preparation prevents piss poor performance. That's like 5 P's. Not like the black eyed peas, but you know. So I'm on the second side now. I don't know if you can see that. This probably isn't going to be the best cell, but it'll give you an idea of how I do it. This is the last point. So this isn't really perfect, but you can get the idea. So it's wired from the 3 points on the 2 bus sides on the back to the 2 bus bars on the front of the second one, and then you're going to just keep going down the line, keep adding them until you get up to about 20 volts or something. And you don't have to get 20 volts per panel, but it makes it easier if you want to run all your panels in parallel, because if they're all running 20 volts, then you don't have to wire your panels in series, so you can just keep plugging all the negatives to negatives and all your positives to positives, and then it'll just keep adding up the wattage instead of adding up the voltage. So, but yeah, this is that. And with this pane of glass that I got, it was I think it was like $6 or $7 at Home Depot just for one, and for 2 glass panels it would be $14. And then I think I calculated the cost of the solar cells to be about it was like $120 for 80, and that's about $1.50 per solar cell. So with the 22 that I need for this one 40-watt panel, I think the total for all the parts comes out to about maybe like $56 if but the thing is, that's already if you have the soldering iron and you already got your tools and stuff. But so compared to commercial and like retail solar panels, which I bought my first solar panel, which was a 20 watt, and I got that for like $80. And my second one was a 100 watt solar panel, and that was $270. So they get pretty expensive if you buy them retail. But the thing is, if you just make them at home, you save about 50%, because I made a 40 watt for $56, and yet if you buy retail, you're gonna pay $80 for a 20 watt panel. So you're getting twice the wattage, and you're paying not quite half as much, but you're paying about 60% what you would which that's pretty good if you think about it. So double the wattage and 60% of the price. So that's a lot of savings. And if you're looking for some way to put a lot of solar panels up, but you don't want to pay a whole lot of money, this is a good way to do it. But then again, of course, yeah, if it's going to be something that's going to be on your house, then you're going to need to have to pay for the retail thing, which is really unfortunate because you have that added cost. But then it's you also have to have the solar panels that you're using be UL listed if you're going to use them for any sort of like official use, like if you're going to have it on your house in a neighborhood or something. And of course your housing association probably wouldn't be very happy if they found out that you just put up a whole bunch of homemade solar panels. So unfortunately, it's not something that, like, if you want to make like a 10,000 watt grid tie solar panel system. Fortunately, you can't do that, not quite yet. But if you want to, I guess if you just want to do it for hobby, you can do that. Or if you have some purpose that might not be for homeowner use, then or maybe if it would just be a place off to the side of your house, you could probably do that and be okay. But yeah, just a real quick way to make solar panels. If you have any questions or anything, just ask in the comments and I'll get back to you.